Hey guys, it's Maggie from Rock Paper Copy. In this video, I chat with Keri from Yellow Door Digital and we talk about Shopify SEO, which Shopify theme is best to pick for SEO, does Shopify Analytics really matters, and do you really need to worry about its data, especially the speed, what kind of elements really affect your loading speed, which tools to use to measure your website speed, as well as are the Shopify apps really that good and can replace manual SEO.
Welcome to Rock Paper Copy, best place for Shopify store owners to learn about SEO, getting traffic, and sales.
So Keri runs Yellow Digital, Shopify SEO agency based in Australia. And although I'm based in the UK, we managed to find the time to chat, although there's almost 12-hour difference between us. So it was my Monday morning, it was Keri's Monday afternoon or evening, and she agreed to chat with us on their day off. So please watch this video and let me know which tip you like best. Please note that the voice recording isn't perfect, so really sorry about it. I tried to balance the voice during the edit. It is not perfect, so please put the volume up and I hope you find the tips useful. Enjoy!
I know that you specialize in Shopify, you specialize in SEO, you also offer free audits, you offer free consultation. And let me know a little bit more about how long have you been working with Shopify stores and what is your specialty, for example, if you work only in special niches or if you work only in with established stores. Tell me a little bit more about how you work.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for getting up so early to chat with me. Yeah, no, well, it's always hard to marry the times up talking about the UK versus Australia, but I'm excited to hear how things operate on your side of the world. And Shopify enables different things for different countries sometimes, so it's good to touch base with somebody doing the same sort of thing or similar things with SEO and Shopify in the UK. So that's great. But I've been involved with Shopify for maybe about 5 or 6 years. SEO a long time before that. It was always something I danced around as a marketing manager for various brands and things. SEO was something that was always there as part of my job that I was like, let's get away from that. It's too hard. But then, once I started diving into it, I loved it. And now I just do it all the time.
Okay, so you enjoy SEO. This is something that you really, you see the results, and this is something that you really enjoy, because some people really don't like the technical part of like website optimization. They prefer marketing, but you feel that this is really something that it marries your strengths and obviously gives you great results for your clients.
Yeah, I feel it marries up with my, the level of geekness I like to go to. So, I don't want to hang the keys around my belt, work, deep into the night with, a long beard and everything like that, under a coat of darkness. So I'm definitely marketing, but then that little bit of geekness that's required to understand SEO and really get under the hood sometimes of what's happening. A little bit of psychology rolls in there as well in regards to what people are typing in. So I feel SEO has just got that little touch of everything that works for me. So I guess that's why it's always intrigued me a little bit to just sort of play the game that way and just see how we can make improvements for people and sort of predict audience psychology in a way.
Yeah, I do love psychology in marketing, psychology in converting visitors into sales. I feel that this is such a deep topic that I read a lot about psychology of the language of the marketing, psychology of for example, writing product descriptions, the words that actually convert, right? So this is really fascinating topic as well. And you can use quite a lot of it in SEO, right? With the right keywords, with the right content, with the right images, or even design of the website. But you mentioned some of the topics that you feel that we should really talk about. I know that you mentioned the issue of the Shopify Analytics and actually the speed suggestions or kind of speed reports that they contain in their dashboard. And me the same. I had emails from a few clients being very worried and being very concerned about the finding the data that they find in their Shopify Analytics, and they think Is it something we should worry about? Is it something that we should really, follow, or is it really reliable data source, Shopify Analytics? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I find it surprising that Shopify have decided to put that in people's dashboard, because it really has scared a lot of people, and they're freaking out because most of them tend to say they're slower than the average. We've got a few theories. They're not being very open in regards to who they're putting in that catchment, whether it's all stores. And as we know, lots of people can sign up to Shopify and have a store, have a bit of a play with it, and then not turn anything over. And they can just add apps and add dodgy themes. So I get the feeling that maybe if we're comparing your site to everybody's sites in the whole ecosystem of Shopify, then maybe it's slower because you've got some sites that have got one product in them or something like that, where they're going to be super fast because they've got nothing on them. But people tend to worry a lot about it, and the scale is making it look like you can get an A+, when really, as someone who's been through the schooling system, we know, okay, well, if I'm only at 50, then that means maybe I'm a C. I need to be better than that. And I don't think it's the same sort of grading. I think the A+ is barely achievable, especially if you want to have conversion as well, because we need to have things on our page that help our visitors convert to real customers or upsell them. And sometimes that means that we have to slow it down. So to have it front and center there, or so easily accessible for people who are new store owners, I just think it sends the wrong message, and they go down a rabbit hole of trying to improve that speed when they might be sitting at 3 seconds anyway, which is pretty great. So the idea is, if you can shave 50 a second off or something like that, 0.5 of a second, you're going to make millions. And it's just not true. It's not going to happen. So
It is not true. It definitely, I kind of started seeing the newer Shopify stores that load in under 1 second. So I feel that this is the new direction we go to. And this is going to be a new standard that online visitors will start getting used to that. And Shopify stores that have been operating for a while still load considerably longer, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I see sometimes a little bit longer. So even I think this cutoff time of 3 seconds that user experience specialists say, if your website loads in over 3 seconds, it means that it will harm your SEO, user experience, sales. So I think this level will be dropping to 1 second in about 2 or 3 years. What do you think about that?
potentially, but we've got to remember that this is really just based on the user's first impression of the website. Once they're into the website, that's really saying, yes, this website exists. You want to deliver something quite quickly. So we might be talking about a fast homepage, but I think we'll be moving to a place where we will see video being on product pages more consistently, which if they're using HTML5, it could be faster, but a lot of the store owners on Shopify won't be doing HTML5. They'll be uploading from Vimeo or something like that. So it'll be a little bit slower on the product pages. So I think the whole 1 second idea might be okay, but I think product pages will not necessarily need to load that quickly, because they will want to convert visitors and into buyers.
And what is the best tool, in your opinion, to measure or to find reliable loading speed for your website? For example, I use Pingdom tools. Is there any other tool that you can recommend, or that you use for measuring speed?
Yeah, I like Kingdom as well, but I tend to go GT Metrics, and I think they've all got their quirks. I can run something through GT Metrics in the morning and run it through at night, and it's a different thing. So I think it's all about an average, and I think rather than looking at the number of seconds, it's also looking about the number of requests that it has to do, and then the file sizes and things like that as well. So not just focused on the score bit that people understand, which is the seconds, but really looking at how many requests, how many times has my website had to go to something else to build my page, and can I minimize that, because that will then in turn affect the speed. But I tend to just default go to GT Metrics, and I think as long as you use the same tool all the time, then you're okay.
Yeah, okay. And also, you mentioned the picking of the theme. Did you find that any Shopify themes are better for SEO than others? Did you notice any particular difference that the buyers should be looking for when picking the new theme, so they know, okay, so I need to avoid that because that will harm my SEO, or theme doesn't really matter for SEO? What do you think?
Well, I think theme's really important for SEO. picking a theme should be something that you spend a bit of time doing, because you need to look at the functionality that's built into that theme.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to add some apps later on just to get that particular functionality. It's going to slow your site down. So having a good understanding of what the theme does. Shopify recently has enabled it possible that you can install that theme as a trial, and that didn't used to happen. You used to have to buy your themes before you could do the trial. So that way you can have a try, you can see how all these things work and whether that theme is going to work for you. But I also say to my clients to run the theme demo through GT Metrics or Pingdom and see what the optimal speed score is for this particular theme. Because these themes are written by developers, and some developers are more skilled than others. So you want a developer that's got clean theme, he hasn't had to use too much bloat in the code. So generally the more premium themes are going to be written by better developers. It's just kind of how it is. But run it through a speed test, see what the optimal speed site load time is. And if it's under 3 seconds, you can go, okay, well, at best I can get 3 seconds if it's as clean as the demo.
Okay, that's a good tip actually. And any other elements of the theme we should look for apart from the loading speed when it comes to SEO?
Just what's built into it, because if you have to build in, an announcement bar, for instance, and you know that you want to have an announcement bar, especially with COVID, everyone's using that announcement bar to make their announcements about COVID. If you haven't got that in your theme, like I think the debut theme or one of the cheaper free themes doesn't have it, you have to have an app for that. So the shipping bar theme is a popular one that people add on to that. They think, great, I can just add it on, but it's actually it's another call to the server that the theme has to make rather than being built in to get in the get-go. So I think that's pretty important. And also themes will have schema added. So I don't know if you run any of yours through a schema checker first. Some of the more premium themes will have deeper schema added, and some of the more lightweight themes won't. So I think that's important as well, to maybe check the schema that's been built in out as well.
Okay. And Keri, what's your opinion about the apps? Do you think too many apps can affect the loading speed? Is it better to pick the theme with as many features built in, or it doesn't matter and then you can add, throw as many apps as you want? And will the SEO be affected? Will the loading speed be affected with too many apps?
Yeah, no, I think if you can get it built into your theme, that's better than having an app add-on. It's like having a party with too many people you don't know there. You've kind of got all these extra things that you've got to manage, and you've got to work out whether they're working properly. Whereas if they're built into the theme, it's kind of that central source. It's all there. But inevitably, every Shopify store has to add an app at some point in time. It's all, there's no theme that's built perfectly for every single person. So I think researching which apps you're going to plug in is really important as well. So once you pick your theme and then you decide, okay, we're going to have, we need this particular type of functionality. Are we going to get it custom developed, or are we going to use an app? And if we decide to use an app, which app are we going to use? And I think that people need to spend some time researching that as well. Just what ones work, reach out to the developers of those apps and ask them questions, see how responsive they are, because if they're not getting back to you, then they're not going to get back to you once your app's on board. So
Absolutely. That's a good idea. I also use that. I contact the support first and see how fast they respond, how helpful they are, because usually they're much more responsive when they want to find a client, because obviously they want to acquire the client. But it's a good indication if they make more effort in the beginning. It means that obviously that they are likely to be responsive. If they don't respond, in 3 days, it's a good indication they will ignore you once you become customer. They probably won't be very helpful in solving the problem. So it's a good idea to contact them before adding, and not only but anything really, any like the domain host or any other service provider, right? You want to add to your business or to your website.
really good thing that I think people just skip over. People tend to add apps really willy-nilly, and they're adding them to their base theme. I think it's really important, and I don't know if you recommend this as well, but to duplicate your theme before you add any new app, so that any of the code that it injects is going into a different theme, and you keep your other one quite clean in case you decide you don't want that app. Then you can remove it and you can move back to that theme that has no code injected into it. So people just kind of add them in. I had one that had 90 apps that had been installed and uninstalled,
Wow.
and their site was really slow because of all the code crumbs that were left hanging around. Even though they had deleted the app,
Yes.
they hadn't installed it correctly. So
Yeah.
choose your apps wisely, research them, have a look at the reviews. Don't just kind of add them willy-nilly, like be careful.
Yes, exactly. And I've had a history of the clients who added the app, and some of the apps within the same niche. For example, the product options app, they are built so they kind of don't work with the app from the similar niche. So even if they add one app, then remove it. The first app kind of tweaked the code so the other app couldn't work. And in the most radical case, the client had to change the theme because it just was so altered. The actual theme developer, it was custom theme purchased from Theme Forest, which don't come with the support as the Shopify theme. So they had to switch to the Shopify themes because this original theme, A, didn't come with the original support, and B, had just too many apps thrown into that.
Getting Shopify themes from Theme Forest, to be honest. I did have one client who was on one, they loved the theme, but even when I started working on it, was a little bit broken and things weren't working.
Yeah.
To reach out to support was a paid thing. You couldn't even ask them to fix their own theme without paying for support. So I tend to stick to Shopify and the Shopify kind of verified developers, if you like. So
Exactly. Shopify themes come with the built-in support, so you can always reach out to the theme support. And I do recommend sticking to Shopify's own themes. And there's another thing that I wanted to ask. I've got a lot of clients being interested in those Shopify SEO apps. So Shopify SEO in a box, you add an app and magically your Shopify is SEO friendly, will jump on the first page. What do you think about that?
There is doubt in regards to whether you should install them or not, but there's still work to do. Once you install them, there is still work for you. Still, it's going to do your keyword research for you. So there is still work to do. It can make the work quicker. So if you have a large store, perhaps it's worth considering. But then you have to weigh up the fact that adding so many apps can weigh down your site, and the speed can be removed. So for me, I kind of go with the first step is do it yourself. Like optimize your own title tags and your alt images and things like that. But if you've got a large store, you could have a look at some of those. But it's not going to do the work for you. It's not going to understand, your keyword research and things like that. So it's not going to magically make you go to number one, but it may help you install. It's like Yoast on WordPress. You get some that it's not going to do the work for you, but it can help you get the work done quicker.
Yeah, what people really miss about this app, that if the app does the same thing for everybody else, for example, they suggest the same keywords, how are you going to get better than anybody else if you get the same results than anybody else, right? You need keywords for your own domain age, right? For your own niche, to check the keywords, how competitive they are, and obviously pick the ones that will give you the biggest chance of getting to page one. And when it comes to, I'm not sure if you worked with someone who added those Shopify SEO apps, but they actually harmed SEO, because I remember a few years ago I was working with the website. They added Shopify SEO before obviously they started chatting with me, and it wiped out all of the meta tags, all of the meta title, meta descriptions of their website. So whenever I searched for their URLs in Google, it came blank. It was URL and then blank meta title, blank meta description. So it was all kind of blocked by this app. So we had to remove it first of all, and obviously go back to the default data and then do it all manually. So it has to be done manually. Nothing really replaces the automated app.
Any app can play with your code. So thus, if you install it into a duplicated version of your theme, you can always roll back to that other theme. So any app that you tick yes to has got the option to kind of tag into your website. So you need to be careful of that. You need to check what it's doing, and that's a good reason to reach out to the developer. What actually happens when I install this app? Do I lose control. Are you going to wipe out my stuff if I haven't installed it to start with? So yeah, that's an unfortunate thing to happen to your client, but I guess it's possible.
Yes, yes, it is possible, and kind of made me realize how really dangerous those SEO apps are. They not only kind of can not really help you, but they can actually harm you, or they can harm your SEO. So that was quite unfortunate. But thank you so much for the tips. I love the tips. I love that you mentioned the fact that you can now test drive the themes. I didn't know about it. So that's a great theme. So for example, even if you wanted to add premium theme, you can test drive it, right?
Yeah, the premium themes such as Turbo or Flex from out of the sandbox is done a little bit differently than the ones that are already in the Shopify store. The ones in the Shopify store, automatically you can just go try this theme,
Okay.
install it, you can play with it, and then if you decide, yeah, I like what I'm doing here, then you can purchase the themes. With the premium themes, you actually have to upload the Shopify, the out of the sandbox installer first, and then you can upload their trial, but it actually doesn't carry across any of the changes that you make. So you can have a play with it and see what it's like, but then if you decide, yeah, I'm going to do it, you'll need to start from scratch with those premium ones. So they're a little bit different, but any of the ones in the Shopify store you can have a trial of. So I think that's a great incentive from Shopify to do that, because before, paying $180 for, and we're Australian dollars here, so US dollars, that conversion is pretty heavy. At least now we can have a play, we can talk to clients and say, this is how this one works, this is how it would look in Blockshop or in Icon or something like that, and they can see how, and it helps them understand as well how themes work over content.
Perfect. Thank you, Keri. So, last thing, how people can find you, and what would you like them to contact you with?
You can see me on the socials. I'm a little bit slow on the socials. I prefer to dig into SEO rather than Instagram or whatever, so I'm not on there very often. But you can generally get to me on Facebook or Instagram, or just through the regular old website. And yeah, I tend to help small businesses, I guess, small to medium size. A lot of women-focused kind of businesses where they've built their websites. They might be going along quite well, but they realise this shop's great, but actually I don't understand anything about SEO. And like you mentioned in our opener, a lot of marketing people have said, too hard basket, I don't want to deal with that. And people can get their head around social media marketing often. You can sort of do courses on Google Ads, and you can manage your way through. And at some point in time you go, I'm spending so much time doing my marketing, SEO is just too far beyond that. So yeah, I love to help people out that have done the hard work themselves, have built shops, have built businesses, they're going along well, but they just need that extra push, and they don't want to learn about SEO because it bores them to tears. God forbid. I don't know why that would happen, but I don't like it as much as I do.
Yes, absolutely. SEO is something I really enjoy, because you can, with marketing, you can, the results are fibbled. They depend so much on the end client, right? With SEO, it's straightforward. You either see the results from Google or you don't. So you kind of see right away if it's working. So that's why I really enjoy SEO, because you kind of know what to expect and what to do next time, right? To generate the same results. And with marketing, you can get the different results from doing the same thing, right?
The thing about SEO is it can love you long time. Down the track, you can be getting some results from a blog post that you wrote ages ago, or from SEO optimization on a page that you did 2 years before you, and that can be a great reward for any business owner to see that the work they did 2 years ago is still paying off today.
I'm a great fan of blogging and SEO. I think it's a perfect combination. So yeah, I'm a lifelong fan of blogging for SEO. Yeah, you have to blog regularly. Thank you so much for your time. If you loved this video, smash the like button now and subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular SEO and e-commerce tips. Also, hit the bell to be notified every time I upload new video. Now watch these videos next, recommended for you here, to learn more about SEO and running successful online business. Bye bye!